Just wanted to update on my ride home. Stopped by Starbucks. I've been having a down spell. Um, Trying to figure out. I know some things that cause me to go up and down, but um, one of the things I think is the medication change from my generic brand to a different generic brand may be a cause. They changed both my medications brands up in time, and I noticed immediately started to feel really bad. So I'm trying to get the name brands that I was still taking 1.5 Klonopin a day, between 1 and 1.5. I'm taking Nictal. It's at 50. Finally up and fast, just extremely, and 75. I've never really got up very high on it. It's the only medication that made me feel clear and happy and alive and motivated. Incredible medication at 50, and then I was too scared as usual to get higher on a dosage. So anyway, that's kind of my update with medications. I've also been going on and off tianeptine. Tianeptine does something. Sulfate. Took it yesterday, and then all of a sudden noticed that I'm cleaning the house. I'm on the phone. I'm doing things. Go to the store. Start doing a lot more. It's a sort of feeding sulfate, but afterward I'm like, on days that I take it, I'm able to do a lot more. I don't feel like a ton better, but it definitely has an effect on my overall well-being. So there's that. And I want to talk in the quick video about the allegory of the cave. I think it was Plato. I don't think that was Aristotle, but anyway, the allegory of the cave. If you haven't heard about it, you should read the story. But God has told me and put in my heart that essentially I am prisoners from that story, and that philosopher knew kind of what I'm going through because he live it or understand it like I do. But essentially what has happened to me, and maybe there's some people out there that understand or relate to this, but when I suffered from the burnout, anxiety, depression, and all that stuff sort of coalesced into a very dysfunctional state where I couldn't really do anything. And I remember at that time, last year, how bad it was. I couldn't even watch television. I still can't do a lot of things, but I'm doing a lot more. So I'm in that kind of crossroads where it's like, okay, well, if this med is helping, or whatever this is helping, but at the same time, is it helping enough? Is it helping enough to warrant it? Definitely made progress, so I'm trying to be thankful for progress. I don't have constant anxiety. I can go to the store and stuff, but I still have the constant fear and the thoughts of all the anxiety that I had last year, which I can't seem to let go of, and I still have the fatigue and different levels of brain fog on and off. But anyway, in that story, I think a lot of times we get so used to watching like well, for me anyway, Netflix and TV, and get stuck into a TV show, and I feel really great. It really calms me down, really helps me to stay focused, away from the world. And like the allegory of the cave, I've come to appreciate playing a video game and watching TV or series. And then when I don't feel, I feel. So during my burnout, I really relied on those sources of entertainment to sort of bail me out. And now it's like I just don't feel well in real life. So yeah, it's like you're a prisoner to all this stuff, the social media, the video games, or the Netflix, or the next show. And it's weird because I never thought that I'd become a prisoner like this to my phone, because I was not like that. I was in that age, I'm in that age group where I was in college. Yeah, I mean, I was in college and we didn't have cell phones, and I didn't play video games. I worked a lot, studied a lot, drank a lot of alcohol, or partied a lot, I should say. But I was very functional and all that sort of thing. But when you have adrenal fatigue, or whatever the hell I had, especially last year where I could barely walk to the damn refrigerator. So I am grateful that I can drive into store and do some things now, but what is there to do? And that's where I really started to fall into Netflix binges. And then I would notice, man, I would get really into it, but then you almost, it's like, and I read an article about this, and it's a real thing where like you actually have withdrawal. And I'm learning all this now, that there's drugs that aren't drugs, like masturbation, pornography, and all these things cause chemical reactions. Netflix, watching Netflix, too much Netflix, all that stuff, too much of all that stuff is bad for you. It really depletes dopamine, it rewires the brain. It always goes back to basics of how we're supposed to live. It's paleo diet. Paleo is about lifestyle. The lifestyle that evolved. The heart of this method, like I fall in love with the characters of these television shows, almost like they're my friends, like they're my family, they're my support group, and I'm so like, I want to see the next episode. And then there's like one season or three, almost like someone died, some like a died, and then I feel this urge to go and try to find a new show, and I usually do, but it's a drug. And I've realized that it's a drug that I've been using, and it falls into that category of distraction, the drug of distraction. And it's I'm not saying it's like cocaine or ecstasy or anything like that, but it definitely has a negative impact on the sustainable solution to my recovery and mental health. It does supply me with some temporary relief, which is great. It's like treating a migraine, with an aspirin or whatever, or a headache. If you have chronic headaches, yeah, maybe the med will help temporarily. But if you're not doing the core work to treat whatever it is, the neck tension, etc., then you're not doing the underlying cause. But you can do both. It's not like you can't take headache medication while you're doing yoga for your neck. It might take that headache medication for you to because I used to have migraines to get out of the house enough, or to do yoga. So I'm all about using that as a bridge, or finding a bridge, but recognizing, for me at least, that these things that we don't really realize are problems is a key, is a key to the sustainable health. um, so sitting in silence, this is something that I don't do, and it's something that I'm trying to deploy a little bit more, and just focusing on my surroundings and realizing, oh, that's a ceiling, that's a fan, and and just really kind of, because I feel, I don't know if it's just me, I'm sure it's not, I'm sure it's our culture, but we're so obsessed with doing and going and being that the world around us sort of fades away. And even while we're driving to work, or we're going here or there, we're thinking about, especially people with anxiety, we're thinking about next week or last week, or we're so stuck in these thoughts, and our brain is trying to protect us during these times, that it's really just awareness that we need to be, and I've been doing that while I drive. I'm saying, there, look at that tree, look at those flowers, because we're missing the world around us. And I say us because, I'm talking to, if anyone that might be having similar symptoms, but this is all about, yeah. So I'm gonna read your comments too. I appreciate the comments for sure. I just wanted to shoot a video. I've been trying to keep track of my progress, and also talk about, in Plato's allegory of the cave. I can't remember if it's Plato or Aristotle, but anyway, I studied philosophy in college for a while, and that story is incredible, because those people were stuck in a dungeon, and their whole lives are chained to a wall, and all they see is shadows. And the shadows are what they think are real. Their whole life, they're conditioned to think the shadows are real people. And when one day someone breaks free, and he travels above this cave, and he sees the sun for the first time, and he sees the real world, you would think that he would be happy, but he's not. He's terrified. He's absolutely terrified, and he runs back down into the cage, into the dungeon, and he chains himself back to the wall.